Hey everyone, my name is Jazz, and for today's video, I'm going to be talking about duo chemistry. Team chemistry basically refers to effective teamwork and can become better over time with practice. Working together on this level is basically always going to be more important than an individual skill. For this video, I'm going to use XSET Knight and Shark as examples, because I think they are a perfect example of a team with good team chemistry, and they showed this off by winning the November dreamhack on the NA East region. Let's start with the number one reason this team is so good when they play together. Both Shark and Knight know when to apply pressure to their opponents. I'm going to show you some examples, but here's a simple rule of thumb you can follow. Whenever your teammate is taking a lot of damage, you should instantly apply highly aggressive pressure to the opponents he's fighting. This way, you give your teammate some space to heal up and come back to the fight. I'll now show some top tier examples of this. So for this first example, I want to show you guys this fight right here because I think it illustrates perfectly what I'm talking about. As you can see right now, everyone's kind of on even footing. Everyone has the same amount of health. Everyone's basically good. So I'm basically going to keep playing this until something interesting happens. So what happens when someone gets cracked? Alright, boom. So Knight got hit really hard, right? So Knight's kind of, I wouldn't say panicking, but he's definitely playing defensive from this point on. So let's see what was happening with Shark the moment that happens, right? Shark is playing defensive, gets hit. So now Shark is on 29 shield, right? So he could be healing, doing whatever, but he realizes like, oh my god, Knight got hit really hard, so he doesn't have time to heal right now. So he instantly goes back and applies pressure. Even though he could have been healing, right? But he basically got the opponent to back off because of his pressure, right? And now he has time to heal. And he's given Knight time to heal. So now you're back wondering like, wow, that went quick, what happened? So let's pull it back. Because I think this is honestly even more interesting watching it from the opponent's perspective. So when you look here, so they're chasing Shark. So no, he's weak, right? So now what does his teammate do? He goes and plays defensive with him. So this is basically the biggest issue right here, right? Because basically the moment November here got cracked, Snake should be on the offense, or they should be finding a good defensive position. But even when they're in a defensive position, they need to apply pressure, right? So with offensive edits and stuff like that. But you see the big difference here. So when November gets cracked, Snake goes down with him and starts defending. So right here, instead of doing this, he should be looking to attack, right? To create space for November, because right now he's not creating any space. Because now what happens is basically Snake's in a bad spot. And you see basically November is doing exactly what he should be doing, which is applying pressure, right? It's too bad that Snake didn't do the same for him. Alright, so I want to show it one more time. You see that Shark, even though he's weak, he notices that Knight gets hit, right? And instantly goes on the offense. He doesn't go back down to heal, he doesn't do anything, he just instantly goes offense. Because by doing this, he creates space for Knight to heal. I want to mention that to do any of this, there are kind of a couple of rules. Number one, you can't put yourself in a position where you die instantly, because this way your teammate won't have the possibility to help you. So don't take 50-50s and pay attention that you don't get fully boxed. Always have an escape. Number 2, you need to be aware of your duo's position and be close enough so you're able to help within a short amount of time. Now let's move on. Imagine this scenario. You're fighting another duo and you crack an opponent's shield. What do? Most players will tell their teammate and try to finish off that player. This might work on lower tier players, but on a pro level, this is almost never the best option. You should either continue your own 1v1s, or you should focus on the player your teammate is fighting. I know, right? How does this make sense? Well, let me show you. When you crack your opponent's shield, they'll most likely try to heal. And whenever they're healing, they're not fighting. So this is a perfect time to push the other player really aggressively. You must make sure you kill this opponent quickly though, or else the first opponent will have healed up and come back to the fight. I'll show an absolutely perfect example of this. So for this example, we're going to see Knight and Shark take down Tahi and his teammate. You'll see right now that Sprite and Tahi are fairly far apart, so Shark and Knight basically start off this fight by landing on one of them. And you notice that obviously they have the pinch going on, which is good, like two different sides, but that's not what we're here for. You'll notice as well that Sprite instantly uses his shockwaves to try to help Tahi, right? A little server lag there. So you notice that right now both Shark and Knight are on Sprite, but Tahi comes from behind and actually cracks Shark really hard. As you can see, Shark's right now is on a height. And what we saw earlier, right? So Shark got hit. Now what does Knight do? He instantly tries to help Shark, right? He goes and tries to apply pressure to Tahi, which works out wonderfully. If you want to see what happened there, Tahi basically goes a little bit too insane on the piece control and loses track of what he's actually doing. So as you can see right here, gameplay. So it doesn't notice that Shark's actually phasing through his floor. And so Tahi gets hit really hard. So now for this example, I want you guys to notice that the moment Tahi gets cracked really hard, first of all, as we saw earlier, then what should happen? Sprite should help, right? So you see Sprite coming up. But what do Knight and Shark do? They basically have two options, right? Either focus their attention on Tahi or focus their attention on Sprite, or obviously splitting their attention. So one of them focus on Tahi and one of them focus on Sprite. In this example though, what you see is that they start off focusing Tahi because he's really, really weak, right? But basically Shark notices, hey, his teammate's coming up. Let's get him down first, right? Because Tahi is weak, he'll be healing, he's not going to be too aggressive. So Nike actually backs off and goes to help kill Sprite. So the thing when doing this is that they need to finish this quickly before Tahi finishes his heal, right? So Tahi was really weak, so he popping, I think it was popping fish and he's popping shields. So they realize they have to kill this guy quick, right? But when it's a 2v1, you can be a lot less careful. Like you can literally just get into the box with the two of you. As long as you make sure that you're actually with the two of you and you can get into his box, you know, don't worry about it. Just get the job done quickly. So that's what they do. That's what they do, right? You see Shark setting up a shockwave. Shockwaves himself down. He doesn't actually get in. But you notice as well that Knight, he gets really aggressive and just tries to get into his box. And now Tahi joins again, right? So basically, they were able to kill Sprite quick enough before Tahi finishes his heal, right? And what we saw earlier in a different example was that Shark didn't heal to help Knight. And in this case, Tahi could have done the same thing, although Tahi was way, way weaker, right? Tahi only had 30 health, so it was quite important for him to heal. So it was pretty rough. So what I want you guys to remember from this fight is that the moment you crack your opponent's shield, or if you get him really weak, you don't have to try to kill him. You can first try to see what your teammate's doing and see if you can fully support him and try to 2v1 the remaining opponent as quickly as possible. Obviously, this isn't going to be the best option in every situation, but it's a great option when you guys are fighting fairly close to each other. If you can go and help your teammate within 2 seconds, this can be a great strategy. The final thing that's important when using these tips is trust. If your teammate is in his own 1v1, his health is fine, and he's not telling you to come and help him, you need to just find opportunities for yourself to deal damage and not worry too much about him. You don't need to help each other out all the time. I feel like too many people think that having good duo chemistry just means to always help each other out, but I think that Shark and Knight have proven that this is far from reality and is often not the best case. To summarize, remember to use the health bar as a good way to see how much pressure you need to apply. Understand that whenever you crack an opponent, you have the option to create a 2v1 with your teammate. And finally, you need to trust each other that you don't put yourself in a position where you could instantly die, because that way your teammate doesn't have time to come and help you when you need help. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned some new things. I know I had a blast reviewing Shark and Knight myself. If you did find this video useful and you'd like to support my content, make sure to use code CoachJazz in the item shop, and as always, I'll talk to you guys soon.